If your private practice feels heavy, chaotic, or draining, it's not you, it's your structure. And the good news is that structure is fixable. Hi, I'm Dr. Annie, and I'm a licensed psychologist and a digital nomad therapist. Today, I want to show you the exact practice shifts that create more space, freedom, and flexibility, long before you buy new tech or leave the country. Let's dive in. If you're feeling burnt out or overworked, then the first thing you should evaluate is what your session fee is and how you bill your clients. When your session fees are too low, you need to work more and see more clients just to afford your bills. And your fees may be too low because your session fee is too low, or maybe you're accepting insurance and maybe you're on several insurance plans regardless of what they reimburse you. And I think as therapists, our work is so heavy and can be quite draining in and of itself. We're sitting with some really deep emotions, people's darkest experiences, most painful experiences. I feel like because of this work, we have a limit to how much we can work or how many clients we see and do good work and actually serve those clients well as taking care of ourselves and our business. Otherwise, I feel like you end up running around on empty, really just working off of fumes. And so if you feel like that's you're seeing maybe 30, 35 clients a week just to feel like you can pay your bills and also maybe put money in savings or afford that vacation, then it's definitely time to address your fee. Because I think that when we have higher fees, we need to see less clients to make the same amount of money. So if you're finding yourself feeling really burnt out and really resentful of your work and maybe even fantasizing about changing careers and having some type of different work because the work that you're doing is too much, then I would definitely reevaluate your fee and see if you can raise it by maybe $50, $100, depending on what your fee is now in today's day and age in our economy. No therapists should be charging less than $150 a session. If you're in some cities, like if you're in a larger city, I don't honestly think you should be charging less than $200 a session, because otherwise it just becomes quite untenable to be able to live and work and function as a human being as a therapist if we are being underpaid. And I know raising your fee can be quite scary. And so something you can do is raise your fee for any incoming clients. And then for your current clients, if you feel like you have a caseload of 30 to 35 people, or maybe even 25, and that feels like too much for you, it can be a really great idea to raise your fee because there might be some people who leave, but that might benefit you. I think the thing we forget is that our clients who maybe have more traditional jobs get yearly raises and are also probably getting bonuses, or they're getting promotions, or they're leaving a job and going to a new one and getting a pay raise. And so I think it's only natural that that's something that we also do as therapists. And I think that if we are able to present it to our clients and talk with them about it, I think most people are very understanding of that. And if you're someone who's seeing mainly insurance clients and you're feeling that burnout of having to work too much to be able to afford your life, then it's time to really take a look at all the insurance plans that you're paneled with and see which ones are paying you the most and which ones are paying you the least, and slowly start to depanel from the ones that are paying you $50, $70, $80, $100 and say sayonara, bye, and get off of those insurance plans, because that is highway robbery. I obviously know going private pay completely can be really scary, and so that might not be something you're exactly wanting to do right now, but I think that it's a good middle ground to at least get rid of the insurance panels that are paying you the least and continuing to work with the ones that are valuing your time more. The next thing that I think can leave us therapists feeling really drained and chaotic is our schedule and our cancellation policy. For the schedule, I know for me, when I first started out in private practice, I felt kind of desperate for as many clients as possible. And so I kind of scheduled people all throughout the day and was really mainly going off of their availability instead of having kind of a structured schedule. But I felt like that ended up leaving me feeling very drained and honestly a bit resentful about maybe having clients early in the morning or maybe even late in the evening on the same day. And for me, that felt so unsustainable. Like I felt so drained. I felt like I was rescheduling people last minute. I like to have Fridays off, but I felt like I, ended up rescheduling people on Fridays. And I think it just left me feeling like there wasn't enough time for me and what maybe I wanted to do. So if that's something you also resonate with, I think looking at your schedule and having firmer boundaries on when you see clients can be really helpful in being able to take care of yourself and feel less like your business is running your life or your clients are running your life. And obviously, I think we can get stuck in this out of, like I said, fear of you feel like you need money. You're afraid that if you have stricter boundaries, less people are going to be able to see you or someone might not want to see you. But from my experience of having stricter boundaries with my schedule, I found that yes, maybe there were some people that didn't end up wanting to see me because I didn't have the time that was available to them. Most people find the time. And I think something too, like you can think about, like if you really don't want to work evenings and you do maybe find that there are a lot of people who need evening times because of their job, something you could do is you can play around with your schedule of like, maybe you don't mind seeing people on Sunday mornings or Sunday afternoons. And so you work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday. Instead of, trying to fit people into the evenings, you can have maybe a little bit more flexible schedule in that way. I definitely think there's a way to make it work where you're having a tighter schedule, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily having to be inflexible and losing out on clients who maybe have a stricter schedule. That's obviously something you do not have to do, but that's just an option for you. And then I think coupled with this, like I was saying, is your cancellation policy. Now, I know for me, because I was wanting to make money and not wanting to lose out on clients, I felt I was definitely rescheduling people to times that didn't work for me or rescheduling people last minute because of my cancellation policy. From the beginning of my private practice, I had a bit stricter cancellation policy. It was 72 hours. I just felt like 24 hours wasn't enough warning for me. And I also felt like 24 hours was like close enough to the session time that if someone was really anxious and wanting to avoid the session, that it gave them enough time or it was close enough to the session that their anxiety would spike, but they still had enough time to cancel. And so people would cancel maybe 24 hours before or like 25 hours before. I changed it to 72 just because it gave them enough time to cancel, but also wasn't within that like really anxious avoidant window. And I think for a long time that did work for me, but I also felt like I got to a point that I was finding myself being a little bit lax on my schedule boundaries because I was afraid of losing out on money. And I also know that I and other therapists talk about seeing more clients because they're expecting people to cancel. But then when all of those clients show up, it's an extremely draining week. Like I know a lot of therapists who have 30 scheduled appointments on their calendar, but expect maybe 25, 26 because people cancel. And to me, like I just wasn't willing to do that. And I also think when I felt like resentful of my clients of like canceling, I was like, I'm feeling resentful, but they're respecting a boundary that I set. And so if this isn't working for me and this is kind of making me feel resentful or burnt out and kind of angry about this setup, then this is something that I need to change because this is my policy. And if it's not working for me anymore, then I have the freedom to change it. And so what I did was I changed my cancellation policy to a reschedule-only policy where someone has a specific time on my schedule every week. And obviously, if I'm not there, they're not charged, like if I'm on vacation or taking time off. But they have a specific time on my schedule, and that's essentially their time, and they're responsible for it. If they can't make it, they are welcome to reschedule within that week, or if they're like maybe gone on vacation for a week or two, we schedule to the week before or after. But it just helps me have reliable income without having to overextend myself by taking on more clients than I can mentally or emotionally contain. And so it was something that has been really a big game changer for me when it comes to the sustainability of my private practice. And so that's something for you to consider if you feel like your cancellation policy is really affecting your schedule, but also is affecting your well-being because you're taking on more clients than you can really handle. Definitely consider changing your cancellation policy and making it more strict. Maybe a reschedule only or no cancellation policy is not something that really aligns with you, but there are more options that you can think about. Like maybe it's a 7-day notice instead of 24 hours. I feel like the standard is 24-hour cancellation policy, and I just don't think that you have to follow that. You can choose what works for you. This is why you're in private practice. You get to set the terms. But I think most clients understand that this is your life, this is your well-being, and you need to make policies that work for you, because ultimately it'll probably make you a better therapist to them. The third thing I really want you to look at as a therapist in private practice who's feeling crispy and a little bit spread thin is what kind of support do you have in your business? I think it's so easy as small business owners to feel like we have to do it all. We have to be our own accountant, we have to be our own biller, we have to be our own marketer. And while that probably works for a period of time, like maybe when you're starting up and building your caseload, I think once you're generating a certain level of income or you have a certain level of clients, trying to do everything alone is ultimately going to spread you thin and burn you out. I know for me, it can feel hard to take my hard-earned money and pay someone else to help me, but the moment that I started doing that, it really helped me feel so much more supported and feel like I'm able to take my energy and my time caring for my clients and caring for myself instead of feeling like I'm like putting out fires or chasing after loose ends. So the first thing that you should consider is getting a virtual assistant. Now, I feel like this is something that a lot of therapists don't have and is not really necessarily mainstream, but I think can be a really huge game changer. Virtual assistants can help you with billing. They can help you with managing your email inbox, rescheduling clients, communicating with people. They can help with marketing, like reaching out to new referral sources or, helping with the onboarding process of a new client. A virtual assistant can be a really great person to help take care of those things so that when you're not in session, you're able to go get a massage or you're able to play with your children or make sourdough bread, instead of being chained to your computer trying to, manage all of these tasks. Another person that I think is really helpful to get help from is an accountant and a bookkeeper. This is something I've had from the beginning of my private practice. I just feel like the financial and tax part of our jobs is a little bit above my pay grade, above my education level. And I think outsourcing this to an accountant and a bookkeeper, I have them both together, just really takes that off of my plate and makes it so that's not something I have to worry about, or I don't have to be kind of going through my bank statements and really logging everything. And it also gives me peace of mind that, one, it's not something I'm avoiding, like it's being taken care of for me. And obviously, we don't want to get in trouble with taxes because that can be a really hefty bill. It just gives me the peace of mind that I know that part of my business is being taken care of. And obviously, they email me and let me know the information and like what I need to pay for quarterly taxes. It's just a really nice thing to have as a small business owner. Another thing that I think can be helpful is just having like a business coach or a business mentor. A business coach might be more for you if you're looking to expand, like you really want to go into build a group practice, or you feel like maybe something's not working in your business and you feel like you need some support. I feel like a business coach can be a really great person to help you take a look at your situation and really figure out what the best way forward is for you. And then also a supervisor. I think as therapists, our work is really hard, and I will always shout from the rooftops that a supervisor is a wonderful support to have in private practice. Our work is not easy. I feel like we're sitting with very broken people or having to navigate difficult relational dynamics with our clients. A supervisor is a really great person to have in our corner to help us navigate those tricky situations, and I think ultimately can help us feel a bit more grounded when it comes to clinical work. Because I know when I have a really difficult session with a patient, I can start to feel that chaos or that overwhelm. But knowing that I have a supervisor that I talk to weekly and that I can talk to about it just gives me so much more peace of mind and helps me feel, like I said, just more grounded and less scared and a bit panicked, trying to figure out how to manage that all alone. That's all for you today. If you found this helpful, definitely like and subscribe for future content all about building a flexible private practice, working online as a therapist, and building a life that actually feels good. Leave a comment below letting me know which practice policy, boundary, or maybe even support you're going to update first. If you're realizing that your private practice structure is what's keeping you stuck, join my newsletter. I share deeper guidance and practical steps to help you create a practice that actually supports your freedom. If you like this video, I highly recommend you watch this next one.